Narayana, 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 Narayana. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. Greetings to all of you. In the previous two recordings, I was presenting the essential knowledge required to feel freedom. Freedom from sorrow. For all the limitations we experience in this life and the subsequent sorrow. What we normally consider ourselves as limiting or limited individuals, limited in capacity, limited in knowledge, limited in skill, and in every aspect in which man wants to excel, yet he finds himself very limited. Even in the endeavors where a man is able to exert, he is not sure of the quality and the quantity of the result. Even if the quality and the quantity of the result is attained, we are not sure when it will materialize. So, in that sense, it is not in our control. And when we want the things to happen, ultimately they may happen, but by that time we may have to encounter our own death. So also, all this effort looks a futile exercise. By the time one attains the fruit of their actions which are desired, the capacity to enjoy them may not exist, the time may not permit. So when we talked about the Mundaka Upanishad sloka, Parikshya lokan karmachitan nirvedamayat brahmano nastyakrutah krutena what is meant there is that whatever, this is very crucial, there has to be an examination. Many a times we see in the world, including myself, when we started a few decades ago, did we really examine the actions and the subsequent results? No. We just went by the flow, in the sense that everybody is doing, there is some greatness in, some craziness in doing what we are doing in the name of spirituality, we get into it. Many people get into spirituality because of the problems they encounter in their own life. But it is not truly because they have reached what is explained in this verse. Parikshya lokan karmachitan nirvedamayat brahmanaha. So we do not really, here what it is saying is, contrary to what we do not do, is you need to examine, okay, this effort, this endeavor, this yajna, this sacrifice will give this kind of experiences. Loka means experiences. Of course, subsequently you can also say the worlds, because experiences are described for different worlds in the in the Vedas, different lokas, Manushya loka, Swarga loka, and in that there are different gradations, etc. So to experience certain fruits, you need to go to certain worlds. And we simply normally say Swarga loka. Swarga kamo yajeta means one who wants to go to the Swarga needs to do a particular yajna. Jyotishthamena yajeta. He needs to perform Jyotishtoma sacrifice, yajna. Nowadays nobody does it. But however, in the later Smriti Granthas, you see what is called as a Ishta Purtam. Ishta Purtam. Ishti is a desireful action, which is said in the Shrutis. Purta is a karma, which is said in the Smritis, Smriti Granthas, such as, Vasishtha Smriti, Apastambha Smriti, Gautama Smriti, Bodhayana, etc. And of course Mahabharata, etc., which are itihasas. So certain actions, some charitable actions, some actions in service of people, they also give you Swarga Sukha, etc. But what is said in this Mundaka verse is Parikshalokan Karmachitan, is that having examined the actions and the worlds that can be obtained, one determines that these worlds are perishable. That comes out of examination. If one is simply desirous of going to heaven, they can go to heaven based on the promise of the Veda. Of course, it is also said that depending upon the faith you have, etc. So assuming that you qualify in all the other dimensions, that you have faith in that, you perform all the actions meticulously, and there are priests who really know those processes, and then you become an Yajamana and do them. Then you may go to Swarga, but you cannot validate it now that I go to Swarga or not. That is only a belief, a faith on the Veda. But because we trust, we say we go to heaven. But what is also said is that any karma that you do will have a finite results. It cannot give infinite results. By doing finite karma, you cannot get infinite results. So, the finite results obtained by a finite yajna karma will also be finite in time, in terms of duration during which those results can be experienced. So having exhausted the fruits of that karma, you will have to come back to this world of death. The world of death means this world where we live and die. Or we may even go to the inferior worlds. This is what is explained. So a Brahmana, see, this is composed probably, 1500 years before Christ, or maybe 2500 years before Christ, or much before that, because Mundaka is one of the older Upanishads in comparison to Katha Upanishad. So at least 2000 years ago, give and take, we are not really hung up on when it is said, but we know it is an ancient thought discovered by the people who went about this search. They said, by this action that I can perform as called yajna, I will get a finite results, I will come back. So what good is that? Nirvedamayat brahmanaha means this. Means having examined, you get despondent. Vairagya comes, dispassion comes towards the action. That is what is important. If there is no dispassion towards action and the results obtained by that, either in this world or in the higher worlds, then the examination has not yielded its fruit. Pariksha lokan karmachitan nirvedamayat brahmanaha nastya krutaha krutena. Krutena, by action, nasti akrutaha. The one which is not created, the one which is not constructed, the one which is not caused, which is not a result, such a thing cannot be obtained by action, by krutena. This one way of interpretation. Means the uncaused, there is only one uncaused, as we would conclude in the Upanishads. That is the Brahman, the source of all, and that is not caused, because it is self-existent. So you cannot get that self-existent, imperishable, immutable reality by doing any great action. This is one way of thinking. Other thing is, when you examine each action and the result, you don't find an imperishable thing in that. Then you say, Krutena kim. So what use of this action? There is another way of looking at it. Same sentence. Nastya krutaha krutena. By action there is nothing. That's one way. Another thing is, so what use of action? Krutena kim. In either way, one should get dispassionate about getting fruits or enjoyment or experiences of greater intensity and desire fulfilling, either in this world or in other worlds. One should get totally indifferent. I do not say, any other things. It's only indifference. You are not going to determine and say, I want to push away heaven, or I want to push away comfort in this life. That's not that. Being indifferent means you don't make any effort or movement towards that, either approaching or reproaching, coming nearer or going away. You don't make any effort. That is dispassion. That is vairagya. Without this vairagya, the disease to action, disease of propensity towards action is not going to go. So that is what this verse is telling. So whatever I have explained earlier, I don't know how much the listeners got, but this is the intent, that one should get vairagya towards action. Vairagya, it's not like getting dejected. It's not like getting discouraged. It's not about getting disillusioned. But this is a different sort of disillusionment, in the sense that it gives a determination that I want to take or discover a method in which I can obtain the imperishable. Nastya kruteh krutena. If I say only this much and shut up, then what will happen? There nothing can be done. But no, the seeker is not stopping there. He says, Nastya kruteh krutena sa gurumeva abhigached. So he says, so there ought to be a method by which I can become imperishable reality, knower of the imperishable reality, that the seeker has already heard. See, without getting an idea, nobody would say this statement, right? So which means that in the process of seeking, in the process of examining, he also came into contact that there is such a thing that can be obtained by a teacher, from a teacher. So he says, Sa gurumeva abhigached. This word also has got two meanings. He should approach the teacher only. Meaning that self-effort will not help, number one. Self-effort will not help. Gurumeva abhigached. Means self-effort is not going to help here. Because if he knew, he would have done it by now. Only because he didn't know, He concluded that nothing permanent can be achieved by any yajna, any karmakanda. That he has concluded. But he is given a hope that a guru, a competent guru, has got a means for this imperishable fruit. So guru meva abhigachet. He should go to the guru only. Meaning that self-effort or self-discovery is not going to help here. Second thing is, karma is not going to help. So guru meva abhigachet. Means he is also telling no secular effort will help. No secular effort will help. Seeking that from your wife, husband, from children, from friends, relatives, parents, it's not going to help. Only somebody who is titled as a guru will be able to help here. In fact, this even is telling that so-called self-control and tapas is not going to help here. Tapas is mainly individualistic. It is not a collective thing. So only a teaching can, only a upadesha, a adesha is helpful in removing this confusion. That's what it means. By the way, adesha is a word used only with respect to the teaching of the Upanishads. This cannot be with anything else. Though nowadays people use in the secular world also, in the so-called Laukika world also, but Adesha as far as the Upanishads and Veda is concerned, only Vedic teaching is an Adesha. Athata Adesho Neti Neti, as the Upanishad says. And then who is this teacher? So Gurumeva Adhigachet Samitpanihi. Means by approaching the teacher in the right way, in a way to be of service to him. Samitpanihi Srotriyam Brahmanishtam. Meaning, who has obtained this knowledge through Shruti, not through Tantra, not through Yoga of Patanjali. Of course, this is a Vakya of the Upanishad. So, Srotriyam means the knowledge of the Shruti. Because originally the Upanishads or the Vedas were only from the mouth of the teacher to the ear of the student. Shruti, by Sravana, which the Upanishad also concludes. Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, as Agnivalkya tells Maitreyi. So he has to approach for Sravana because the teacher knows, because he himself has passed through this confusion in his own life, he will be able to relate what the student is going through and cut those doubts asunder. So he should approach a teacher. Srotriyam means he has got a teacher. That teacher has got a teacher. So there is a methodology which has been established for some time, which is said to be working. So there is no time in this human life to discover new things or new methods, or there is no need to which already there is a solution. First, let us get what the teacher has to say. If it doesn't work, then you can always do things. Srotriyam Brahmanishtham. So who is this Brahmanistha? Brahmanistha is not one who just listened to these Upanishads and after that he is going to go about living his life, have children, raise them, and go through ups and downs of life. That's not the idea. The idea is he has concluded that all this is Brahman. By his own direct aparoksha anubhuti, sakshad aparokshad Brahma. So as the Brihadaranyaka says, one who is established in this sakshad aparokshat Brahma, what is defined, in that sthaha means he stays put in that. His mind does not identify with any individual concept anymore, except what is being observed by the others. For that person himself, there is no individuality existing. Only such a person is qualified to really teaching. Of course, because we don't find such teachers, we at least get what the Upanishads mean in terms of Sanskrit language, in terms of grammar, Vyakarana, as it is said, and the usage, and also the methodology as expounded in the commentaries of the Shankara lineage. We try to interpret the text and try to get an essence of it, and then hope that we will improve in our life and come to understanding. But truly speaking, it is a waste of time listening to somebody who himself has no understanding of this Atman Brahman identity. Identity does not mean one becomes the other. One is the other is identity. Identity means you say this is that. You don't say this becomes that. Atman is Brahman. That has to be known to the teacher. Otherwise, the teaching, the sentences, the teacher will not be able to explain in the right way. And in the Katha Upanishad also it is said. So they will expound it differently in multiple ways, and you have to choose which one is the right one. Whereas if it is somebody who knows, he will give teaching in a very deterministic way, not in a multifarious way, in an undeterministic way, giving rise to multiple possibilities. No. He will give exactly why Atman is Brahman. So you must take teaching from such a person. Srotriyam Brahmanishtam. It is very hard to get such a teacher, because how many are there in this world whom you can count on your fingers, 10 fingers. One will be very lucky even if you can see one person whom you can trust is a realized person or a man of enlightenment. Very one person in life is a rarity. Others may come with glorious clothes, vibhuti on the forehead, and kunkuma, chandana, etc. But he may not be, and most likely they will not be, man of enlightenment. They may have great words, logic, tarka. That's of no use ultimately, I can guarantee to you. With your personal struggles, you will realize that all these fancy things won't work at all. What all that matters is whether that person really has Atma Brahmatmaikya Gnana or not. Only that is the criteria. Of course, he will be helpful to you more if he is rightly qualified in the Shastra, because Shastra is the only thing that I have access to. My teacher may tell me so many things, but then I need to relate to what is in front of me so that I can correlate as a concept in my brain, and later on this concept will explode into reality. So I am seeking for such a teacher who will be able to give me a precise way as it is said in the Shruti. So he should be a Srotriya, and he must have got the fruits of the Sravana in his own life, and he is compassionate. The only thing that makes a teacher teach you is his compassion. Compassion. And this compassion is not of one person towards the other. I see a poor man and I give him 10 rupees. No, that's not that compassion. This compassion is of identity. Means this compassion is the nature of the self. The nature of the self expresses as compassion. Means consideration to teach. Consideration to teach. So one in his humility will be able to go to the teacher, and the teacher should resonate with it, saying this fellow is sincere, he has been here, he deserves it, because his mind is stable now. In the Mundaka it comes in. That fellow should be Shanta. He should be quiet. If he is nice in his mind, teaching will not work. And if he has no self-control, if he is only worried about comforts of living, then he also cannot focus on this Upanishadic teaching. So all these are said in the Mundaka very clearly. So I will stop here. So this verse I should have explained more intensely, the way that at least I spent few more minutes today, that it is the Vairagya that is the most important aspect. Vairagyam. Raga means attachment. I have attachment towards the possessions of this life. I have attachment towards the people of the related to me in this life. I have attachment towards the fruit of my good karmas in the heaven that I'm going to get. I'm not willing to give up. So Vairagya is like it comes in the Vivek Chudamani. Ihamutra phalabhoga viraga. So iha amutra, either in this world, in the other world. Phalabhoga viraga means non-attachment to enjoyment of the fruits of actions, either in this world or in the other world. Such a state of mind is Vairagya. So only with this Vairagya, this Vedanta is going to give any observable results for oneself, not for others. That is, you come to know reality. This is the one important point that I said. Okay, I will put a stop here and continue this in the next segment so it doesn't become too much at once. Om.